8 hours and I went Draco Malfoy blonde, and then slowly my hair was just like fizzling away and everyone was like, well, this is what happens with blonde, and I was like, I didn't get that much warning. Hey Harper's Bazaar, this is Lipa and this is Fashion Flashback. Oh, this was such a special day. This is from Glastonbury Festival, June 2017. My first album had just come out. I was really excited to get up on stage. I was performing in the John Peel tent, and I think because it was such early days for me, I was also really scared that no one was going to show up. And so I remember just moments before going up on stage, I like peered outside and it wasn't really full, and I was like, it doesn't really matter, I'm just going to go out and have a good time. And once it started, I went there and not only was it packed, but it was like filling up on the sides, which is kind of like a Glastonbury tradition. It was just such a big milestone moment for me to get up on that stage, and I think it was like an afternoon slot, and I was just so chuffed because it was already a massive upgrade from my last festival slots. I feel like my stage uniform at the time was trackies and a bra. It was like sporty and sexy at the same time. When I was first starting out, I didn't really my shows didn't have acts. They were quite short to begin with, whereas now we're like running on an almost 2-hour show. There's a lot more storytelling to it, which I feel like every costume and outfit change kind of plays a role within that in a way that the early days it didn't as much. I love this look. This is the Met Gala 2019, and this is Atelier Versace. The theme that year was Met Camp. It was so much fun creating this look with Donatella. Donatella was one of the first designer to really dress me for stage. She really supported me so early on in my career. When she invited me to go to the Met Gala with her, it just felt so special, and it was just very, very exciting. When we were thinking of Met Camp, we were like, more is more is more is more. From the jewels on the hair to, of course, all the beaded details on the bodysuit to the leggings and the overskirt and the bolero. It was just like, how many more pieces can we add? Which sounded fun at the time, but not when you're getting home at 4 o'clock in the morning and you want to go to bed and you're hammered and you have no idea how you're going to get this out. And I was like taking off all the little clips and the wig bits and whatever. I think it was like a couple weeks later, I was like getting my hair done and someone goes, do you know that you've got like a little bald patch at the back of your head? And I was like, what? And I guess it was like from the trauma of the hair tie and all the wigs on it. So just got to suffer for all the glamour. Of course, the picture with my tongue out. This is the MTV EMAs and I'm wearing Mugler. This was like the first time I performed Don't Start Now in front of people, and I'd been working on my album Future Nostalgia for so long. It was my first performance back, and with the new album and this new song, I was just so excited. I'd been rehearsing for so long. It kind of came after a time where I'd taken a bit of a step back from social media, and I just wanted to focus on making my album. I wanted to get into rehearsals, work towards being the best performer that I could be, and putting on a really great show. And this performance in itself was kind of the first marker of my second album, Future Nostalgia, and everything that it was to become later on. I remember before I got up on stage, all the dancers are in yellow and I'm in black. And it's just this very simple but very iconic Mugler cutout bodysuit. And the tights were very it's just got like this iconic Mugler bum silhouette. Whatever that means. I was just playing a lot with block colours and the performance with a big troop of girls. I think it was that moment where I was like, oh, I think I know what I'm doing and this is really fun. And I really, really enjoyed that performance. But moments before, just as the LED screens were about to part to reveal the performance, I could just feel my knee twitching, and I was like, fuck, I've literally rehearsed this so well. I know this the back of my hand. Why am I nervous? Why am I nervous? And then literally the song started and I was like, all right, we're off to the races. We're in. And it was really, really fun. Being blonde was a bit of a shock for me, especially because it took me 8 hours and I went Draco Malfoy blonde. And then slowly my hair was just fizzling away and everyone was like, well, this is what happens with blonde. And I was like, I didn't get that much warning. So it was a little bit of a crazy experience. I think kind of traumatic when hair's involved. It looked good when my hair was styled, looked terrible when I had to do it myself. so I'm very happy to be back to my dark locks. But in that moment, I had it slicked back in a bun, and you could see the two-tone really clearly, and I love the root as well coming out of it. And I think it's always just so much fun to play around with looks. This is 2021 Grammys. I'm wearing Atelier Versace. I love this look. It's just one of my favorite things I think I've ever worn on a red carpet. It was just such a special dress. Butterflies are such a big part of the foundation of Versace. But also Donatella has a story every time she's in the atelier and she's making something and a butterfly kind of lands or comes in through the window, which it happens quite a lot for her. It's a little message from Gianni, who's come into the room to visit. And the last time when I wore Versace to the Grammys, Donatella told me that a butterfly had landed on my dress and I'd won Best New Artist that night and Best Dance Recording, and I was just so excited, and she was like, oh, it's such good luck, it's such good luck. And so we decided to touch on that story, and also it was very pop and bright and colourful and was very uplifting. I love this dress so much. This is my friend Simon and Marco's wedding. This outfit kind of caused a little bit of a stir online because it's a wedding and traditionally you're not supposed to wear white to a wedding. The dress code was white and it was a gay wedding. From all the pictures you can see that everybody's wearing white, so I don't know why I got so much stick for it. I think also because I was like kind of quite naked as well. But Simon, who was getting married, Jacques Mieux, he designed the dress. So it was at his request that I wore this dress to his wedding, and I absolutely loved it. I felt so good in it. It was in August, so I was vacationing and I felt tanned, and it was so much fun, and the wedding was just unbelievable. I feel like I talk about that wedding still to this day. This is the first look from my Radical Optimism tour. Custom Jean-Paul Gaultier, and the boots are Paris, Texas. Working with Jean-Paul Gaultier on this particular look was really fun. It was, I guess, in so many ways merging couture to also make it accessible for me to be able to dance and perform in. So it has all the kind of very fine couture tailoring, but then I had to do some deboning of the corset so I can dance a little more freely in it. I think Jean-Paul Gaultier always makes women feel so strong and so empowered. I feel like all the silhouettes of a Jean-Paul Gaultier woman has that tough element alongside the hyper feminine as well. Okay, so these boots are by Paris, Texas. They're hand encrusted with little diamantes with the perfect Pantone in Italy to match the Jean-Paul Gaultier corset. I think dancing in heels is a very specific thing when you're on stage, so it has to be the right heel and the right height, and I love performing in a heel, so it's a no-go for me to go for anything less than 3 inches. It has to be comfortable as well as fierce. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to check out the September issue of Harper's Bazaar, out now.